Remember the Christmas tree lit up with the electric lights and test tubes when you think about normal electrolyte lab values. Potassium, the banana at the top of the tree, is an important intracellular cation, which is normally between 3.5 and 5 in the serum, the Christmas 3 tree, and 0.5 hand to the 5 hand. Calcium, the calcium cow, is next on this tree, and its normal serum value is 8.5 to 10.5. The 8-ball ornament with a 0.5 hand going to the 10-tin ornament going to the 0.5 hand, spilling out milk for Santa. Next is phosphate, the phosphate P, who has milk pouring on him from above, causing sparks to fly. The normal serum phosphate value is 2.5 to 4.5, the 2-2-2 ballerina with a 0.5 hand dancing with a 4 fork with a 0.5 hand. Magnesium is another electrolyte, the magnesium magazine lighting on fire, and its normal values range from 1.5 to 2.5, the 1 wand with 0.5 hand leaning toward the 2-2-2 ballerina with a 0.5 hand. Sodium, the salt shaker, is an important electrolyte which helps with nerve conduction and muscle contraction, which has a normal value of 135 to 145, shown as the 135 sleigh being pulled by the 145 reindeer. Finally, chloride, the chlorine dispenser, is helpful in modulating neuronal firing and acid-base homeostasis, and has a normal serum level of 95 to 105, the 95 pool to the 105 pool. So let's review electrolyte lab values. Potassium is between 3.5 to 5, calcium is between 8.5 to 10.5, phosphate is between 2.5 to 4.5, while magnesium is from 1.5 to 2.5. Sodium is from 135 to 145, while chloride ranges from 95 to 105.
The normal electrolyte lab values can be thought of like electric lights, and in this scene we find ourselves in a place one might expect to find a vibrant display of electric lights. A Christmas tree! All the electrolytes are here to decorate the tree, using their values as ornaments. We start up at the top, just as the tree is finished, topped not by a giant star, but a giant banana for potassium. And the tip of this tree is a 3, making it a 3 tree with the help from a 0.5 hand. And then there's a 5-finger hand placed in this ornament, because the normal potassium is 3.5 to 5. Moving down the tree, we find the calcium cow, and it's placed a black and white 8-ball ornament, a fan of the colors, with a 0.5 hand. And a 10-tin ornament is being placed with its 0.5 hand beside it, and is full of milk, for Santa. This shows the calcium is 8.5 to 10.5, and you can always remember this milk is spilling from its tin, across and down the tree. You'll always remember because it's landing on a highly reactive substance in its pure form. Piles of phosphate surrounding a phosphate P react violently with the milk and sparks fly. It's like fireworks are exploding over its ornaments, which are playing out a sort of weird version of the Nutcracker. It's placed in a 2-2-2 ballerina with a 0.5 hand, and she's dancing with a 4 fork come to life, placed by a 0.5 hand. And just as you guessed, this means normal phosphate goes from 2.5 to 4.5. The magnesium magazine. You'll never forget phosphate as being right beside magnesium magazine if you remember the sparks from the violent reaction as lighting up the pages of the magazine, which are filled with Christmas stories. Furthering the Nutcracker story with ornaments, the magazine is placing a 1 wand with its 0.5 hand. And leaning toward this wand is the 2-2-2 ballerina and a 0.5 hand, as she's using its magic to bring the fork to life. Now you know, normal magnesium is from 1.5 to 2.5. The Christmas stories in the Magnesium magazine are a true inspiration for the sodium salt shaker below, and it's compelled to act out a Christmas story of its own. Having already hung its ornaments, the salt shaker shakes itself to make it look like it's snowing, while Santa's 135 sleigh delivers presents, pulled by a 145 reindeer. Since the middle numbers 3 and 4 are the real distinguishing digits here, imagine the sleigh as having a little 3 tree, because first you need a little tree if Santa's gonna place any presents beneath it. Which brings us to our final electrolyte, chloride, shown by the happiest little chloride dispenser there ever was. That's because it's opening a present to find just what every little chlorine dispenser ever dreams of getting, its very own swimming pools. Normal chloride goes from 95 to 105, and there's a pool for each. For 95, the 9 forms a smaller pool with a water slide, and the 5 forms a path up to the diving board. For 105, the 1 forms a ladder up to the larger pool in the 0, and it also has a 5 forming a path up to the diving board. May your electrolytes always be merry and your lab values be most normal.
Magnesium's lab value can be remembered by the overbearing Magnesium magazine, who tried to use a magic wand to put a spell on a ballerina so she would dance with him. Magnesium is an important electrolyte which affects cardiovascular function, insulin regulation, and muscle contraction. Normal magnesium levels range between 1.5 to 2.5 milliequivalents per liter. The 1 wand 0.5 hand of the magazine to the 0.5 hand of the ballerina.
This magnesium magazine wanted to be like one of the hunks it read an article about in GQ. It stated that the best way to win a woman's affection is to charm her and to get her to dance. So the magazine grabs a 1 wand with its 0.5 hand to cast a magic spell. But it doesn't work, and she tenses up in her tutu, sticking out her 0.5 hand, and she says, "Ew, gross! You're so not my type, so talk to the hand."
Potassium's normal lab value range can be remembered by the giant banana, who happens to be a cannibal, catching a banana tossed to it from the banana tree. The normal range for serum potassium levels is 3.5 to 5.0 milliequivalents per liter. The 3 tree with 0.5 hand tossing a banana to the 5 hand, 3.5 to 5.
This banana is so hungry, he's willing to eat his own kind. He asks the banana 3 tree with a 0.5 hand to toss a banana to his 5 hand, so he can eat another banana. 3.5 to 5. You're a cannibal and a monster, Mr. Banana. Or shall I call you a bananable?
Remember sodium's lab value by the salt shakers trying to recreate Christmas, shaking salt all over the scene. The normal range for sodium is 135 to 145 milliequivalents per liter, the 135 sleigh pulled by the 145 reindeer. The 3 tree helps remember 135 miles per hour, while the 4 fork in the reindeer helps remember that they accelerated to 145.
It's been a snowy Christmas, thanks to these salt shakers trying to extend the holiday season for an extra few days off work. One would think salting the roads makes them safer. Apparently, all they did was make them more slick, because the 135 sleigh, which is pulled by the 145 reindeer, is gaining momentum, reaching unsafe speeds. They've accelerated from 135 to 145 miles per hour. She can't take much more of this, Captain. Ho 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 ho! I'm crashing.
Use this Picmonic to learn vitamin C, or ascorbic acid, by the story of the Viking orange traveling the seas in search of the prized cola gem formation. This water-soluble vitamin is an antioxidant, shown by the antioxidant anti-ox. Antioxidants are believed to be protective against diseases such as heart disease and cancer. Vitamin C is also an essential element necessary for collagen formation, shown by the cola gem formation. Thus, deficiency in vitamin C interrupts collagen synthesis. Large amounts of vitamin C are stored in the adrenal cortex and are necessary for adrenal steroid synthesis, illustrated by the steroid stair being built. Vitamin C supplements are indicated for individuals who have a dietary deficiency, shown by the broken nutritional plate. Dietary deficiency of vitamin C can lead to a disease called scurvy, shown by Scooby Sailor. Patients with this disease may experience symptoms such as bleeding gums, poor wound healing, bruising, or hemorrhage. Scurvy can be treated by ingesting vitamin C-rich foods or by taking vitamin C supplements as directed. In excess, vitamin C can cause patients to experience GI distress, shown by the GI flare gun, which includes symptoms such as nausea, vomiting, and abdominal cramps. It is recommended that adults consume no more than 2 grams per day of vitamin C. Foods that contain large amounts of this vitamin include citrus fruits, shown literally by the orange, lime, and lemon. Additional sources of vitamin C include foods such as tomatoes, potatoes, strawberries, spinach, and broccoli. Although unfounded clinically, vitamin C may improve healing, shown by the wounds being healed by Viking orange. So in summary, vitamin C, also known as ascorbic acid, is an antioxidant that plays a role in collagen formation and adrenal steroid synthesis in the body. Vitamin C supplements are indicated for individuals with a dietary deficiency, which can lead to a disease called scurvy. However, if too much vitamin C is consumed, the patient can experience GI distress. Citrus fruits, such as oranges and lemons, contain large amounts of this vitamin, and although unfounded clinically, vitamin C is often indicated to improve wound healing.
Viking Orange has traveled the seas, pillaging nations, in the search for the ultimate treasure, until one day he saw it, guarded by the powerful anti-ox. It was the prized cola gem, and it sparkled and fizzled in all its glory. The ox-riding anti had built steroid stairs to get to the cola gem himself, and he wasn't the only one after the treasure. Wielding a tattered nutritional plate as a shield was Scooby Sailor, who also sailed far and wide just for the cola gem. However, it had been many a moon since he saw the likes of an orange, and was very weak against the power of his sword, and was defeated instantly. His only crew, a mere GI, had fallen overboard and shot off a flare gun in distress. However, Viking Orange and his crew of citrus fruits didn't make it out totally unscathed. Back at the ship, the big dumb oaf of a grapefruit had injured himself. Again. Luckily, Viking Orange was there to heal his wounds.
Aren't you glad I'm here to save you, grapefruit?
Vitamin A, or retinol, is illustrated by the Viking apple and red tin owl, who have just returned after a long journey and discover that someone has been living in their home. Vitamin A, Viking apple, retinol, red tin owl. This fat-soluble vitamin helps maintain mucous membranes, shown by the house maintained in mucus. It also aids in maintaining the structural and functional integrity of the eyes and skin, shown by the eyes and skin soup man. Vitamin A supplementation is indicated for patients with a dietary deficiency, shown by the broken nutritional plate. Since vitamin A helps the eyes adapt to dim lighting, night blindness is usually the first indication of deficiency. Certain forms of vitamin A are also indicated to help treat skin disorders, shown by the skin suit disordered, such as acne and keratosis follicularis. Excess amounts of vitamin A can lead to side effects, such as hepatosplenomegaly, shown by the liver spleen balloon, jaundice, the jaundice janitor, and increased intracranial pressure, or ICP, the up arrow pressure cooker cranium. Some patients may also experience vomiting, shown literally by the vomit. It is important to note that vitamin A is considered a teratogen, shown by the tarantula gem, and thus should not be supplemented in pregnant women. Excessive intake of vitamin A during pregnancy may cause malformation of the fetal skull and heart. Preformed vitamin A, or retinol, is found in animal food products, shown by the animal meat and organs, while provitamin A carotenoids are found in dark green and orange fruits and vegetables, shown by the dark green pepper and orange carrot. So to summarize, vitamin A, or retinol, helps maintain mucous membranes while maintaining the structural and functional integrity of the eyes and skin. Supplementation is indicated for patients with dietary deficiencies and skin disorders. Side effects include hepatosplenomegaly, jaundice, increased intracranial pressure, and vomiting. Since vitamin A is a teratogen, do not give supplements to pregnant women. Dietary sources include animal products and dark green and orange fruits and vegetables.
After a long journey of raiding and trading, a hardcore Viking apple like me is ready for some well-deserved rest at home. But when I finally make it to the house, my all-knowing red tin owl noticed that someone was living in our home of maintained mucus while we were away. Who has been living in our home? From behind the house, I noticed the squatter, peeking with eyeballs. It was the skin suit man, so I look inside to assess the damage, and it was trashed with broken nutritional plates, and a mess of disordered skin suits scattered throughout the place. That butthead. That's it. I'm calling someone to come down here in a liver spleen balloon to clean this place up. That's right, the jaundiced janitor. Because I'm so heated, I'm about to explode like an up-arrow pressure cooker cranium. Ugh, I guess that skin suit man knows what's coming to him, because he just vomited in fear. It's time for him to meet his maker. Oh, but wait, what is this? Looks like he's trying to win me over with a beautiful tarantula gem. He also brought me a fresh plate of animal meat and organs, garnished with some delicious dark green peppers and an orange carrot. A man after my own heart. How do you like them apples? Ooh la la, Skinny. Looks like you're not so bad after all. I guess you can stay.
This Picmonic describes cobalamin, and it's the story of Cobra Man leading his men into battle. Cobalamin may refer to several chemical forms of vitamin B12, shown by his army, the 12 dozen Vikings. Vitamin B12 is essential for synthesis of DNA, contributing to metabolism, the formation of red blood cells, and CNS functions. One of the Viking ships sinks, leaving broken Vikings in the water, which signifies that this drug is indicated for individuals with a vitamin deficiency. A lack of vitamin B12 occurs when the body does not get sufficient amounts or is unable to absorb the vitamin, which can lead to consequences such as anemia and nerve or brain damage. The ship was destroyed by the prune anemone, who represents that those with pernicious anemia may also receive cobalamin. Cobalamin is generally devoid of serious side effects, but one possible response to be aware of includes hypokalemia, the hippo banana being used to attack the Vikings. This may occur as a natural consequence of increased erythrocyte production, which incorporates large amounts of potassium. Some individuals may also experience joint pain, or arthralgia, shown by King Arthur covered in algae. The sea creature is holding him hostage and spinning him in whirlpool, giving him dizzy eyes, as dizziness is another side effect. This medication is often given by IM injection for those with pernicious anemia, and is shown by the in-muscle injection on the prune anemone. Never give by IV route, shown by the Viking bee screaming never and holding away the IV stand. So in summary, cobalamin, also known as vitamin B12, it is given to individuals with a vitamin deficiency or those with pernicious anemia. Side effects may include hypokalemia, arthralgia, and dizziness. Give by IM injection for pernicious anemia, and remember that it is never given IV.
The Cobra Man is leading his men, the 12 Viking bees, into battle to rescue their king. The first wave of attacking Vikings was completely destroyed by the prune anemone holding their king captive. It squeezed a hippo, and a massive incoming banana was the last thing those poor souls ever saw. Having been aggravated, the beast tortures King Arthur covered in algae before his men. Using a tentacle, it whips up a little whirlpool, giving the king dizzy eyes. But the beast is becoming overconfident. It fails to realize that Cobra Man is a specialized warrior with intramuscular fangs. He bites down on the prune anemone and delivers his poison. Now, it's only a matter of time, something the beast knows. It reaches for the Viking's IV stand to flush its system. But a little bee screams, "Never!" and pulls it away. And so the vicious prune anemone fell, and King Arthur returned to his kingdom, leaving his algae with the defeated sea creature.
Remember what you need to know about iron, also known as ferrous sulfate, from the story of the iron who runs a dry cleaning business that gets out the toughest stains and wrinkles. The secret to getting out the stains has to do with the special blend of salt a ferret pours into the irons. This represents that iron is often prepared for administration as a ferrous salt. The ferrous sulfate form of iron is one of 4 types of ferrous salts, and it is absorbed up to 3 times more readily than the ferrous type of iron salt. It is primarily used to treat iron deficiency anemia, shown by the anemone working hard to get out wrinkles. Common side effects may include GI distress, resulting in constipation and diarrhea, and is shown by the GI shooting a flare gun because he's having a fashion emergency. Patients may also experience nausea and vomiting, shown by the GI's vomit because there are dark stools on his clothes. This represents that it can be normal for patients taking iron tablets to present with dark stools. Considerations include taking iron between meals, as iron is best absorbed on an empty stomach. However, if GI upset occurs, the patient may take iron with food to increase medication adherence. This is shown by the iron instructing his customers to iron between meals. This causes a big grin to form across a happy customer's face, showing off his liquid-stained teeth, as liquid forms of iron may stain teeth. Be sure to keep this medication out of the reach of children to avoid accidental poisoning, shown by the iron being out of reach for the child, and exercise caution in individuals with GI disorders, such as peptic ulcers, ulcerative colitis, and regional enteritis, shown by the caution tape around the GI with a disorder. Lastly, avoid antacids when taking iron supplements, shown by the avoid sign above the antacid, as this can interfere with absorption. So to summarize, iron is provided to the body through ferrous salts. It is commonly given to individuals with iron deficiency anemia. Side effects may include GI distress, nausea and vomiting, and dark stools. Considerations include taking iron between meals, avoiding antacids, and being aware that liquid forms can stain teeth. Keep this medication out of the reach of children and use caution in patients with GI disorders.
This iron runs a dry cleaning business where they get out the toughest stains and wrinkles known to man. The secret to getting out the stains has to do with a special blend of salt a ferret pours into the irons. And the blazing speed at which the clothing is finished is thanks to the many iron-wielding tentacles of the anemone who works in the back. But there are some drawbacks to being so good and getting out stains and wrinkles. It's not uncommon for a GI to show up shooting a flare gun, screaming wardrobe emergency. Getting out their puke stains isn't so bad, but it's the tighty-whities stuck to dark stools that really irk the anemone. But no matter the state of your laundry was whenever you arrived, you'll be happy about the way it looks when you leave. The iron is so good at cleaning clothes and encourages his customers to only iron between meals so that food doesn't get on their clean clothes. The iron even offers free refreshments. Although they tend to stain their teeth, the customers have so much to smile about, they don't seem to mind. The service is good, the work is impeccable, and the scorching hot irons are kept out of reach of children, who get to learn from the mistakes of the occasional GI with disorders, let's just say, are a few turds short of a bowel movement. Finally, the true secret to how this iron gets so much business has less to do with its doing right and more to do with the avoid sign it nailed up over the antacids laundromat next door. He still hasn't figured out why business is so slow.
Remember cholecalciferol by the cholecalciferol. Cholecalciferol is a form of vitamin D3, shown by Viking D daisy in the 3 tree. Vitamin D3 is a key nutrient for bone health and is naturally produced in the skin through UVB exposure found in sunlight. For individuals who do not get enough vitamin D3 through sun exposure or dietary sources, a dietary supplement may be necessary, illustrated by the nutritional plate. It is also indicated for individuals with a vitamin D deficiency, shown by Viking D daisy broken. Symptoms of vitamin D deficiency can include bone and muscle weakness along with pain. Side effects of this vitamin are typically attributed to toxicity and may include signs and symptoms such as fatigue, shown by the sleepy guy, and constipation, the corked con toilet. Excessive amounts of this vitamin can also lead to hypercalcemia, the hypercalcium cow, which can result in the development of kidney stones, shown by the kidney-throwing stones. Treatment may include stopping vitamin D intake, reducing calcium intake, or increasing fluid intake. Cholecalciferol is often seen as more effective than its counterpart, ergocalciferol, at raising blood levels of vitamin D. More effective than ergocalciferol is shown by the chole casserole being better than the eagle casserole. Lastly, excessive amounts of vitamin D3 may lead to hypervitaminosis D, a toxicity from exceeding recommended doses or accidental poisoning. Hypervitaminosis D is shown by the Hiker Viking D daisy. So let's review cholecalciferol, or vitamin D3. It may be given as a dietary supplement or to treat those with a vitamin D deficiency. Associated side effects may include fatigue, constipation, hypercalcemia, and kidney stone formation. Compared with ergocalciferol, or vitamin D2, vitamin D3 is more effective at raising serum levels of vitamin D. Excessive intake of vitamin D is toxic and may lead to hypervitaminosis D.
You smell that? Smells like delicious, ooey gooey cold casserole. My favorite. That's me, Viking Daisy in the 3 tree. I'm trying to steal me a piece of that casserole to put on my nutritional plate. But alas, that dirty tree knocked me down, making me a broken Viking Daisy. Then he called the cops on me. When I came to, I was just a sleepy guy in a jail cell. Luckily, I had someone looking out for me, though. He was the big guy in jail, and he leaped on a cork-con toilet to protect me from all the other inmates. He was the great hiker calcified cow, and he taught me all of his ways, like how to avoid stone-throwing kidneys and how to properly steal a casserole. So when I got out, you best believe I hiked up that mean old tree and swiped me a whole dish of that delectable cold casserole. And I left the crummy eagle casserole ooze all over him. Ugh! Now that hiker calcified cow taught me his ways, I'm the ultimate hiker Viking Daisy, and I can never be stopped. Cold casserole.
Remember the medication magnesium sulfate by this spa where pregnant women come to relax while reading a magnesium magazine by the light of sulfur matches. Magnesium sulfate functions as a muscle relaxant, shown by the muscle man masseuse attempting to relax the woman's tense muscles. This drug works by depressing the central nervous system by stopping the release of acetylcholine. This inhibition prevents skeletal and uterine muscle contraction. Therefore, it can be used to resolve preterm labor contractions, shown by the pre-timer uterus flexing. It can also be used in the treatment of preeclampsia, the pre-E clamp. Its muscle-relaxing properties decrease the presence of hyperreflexia and lower the risk of the development of seizures. Intravenous magnesium sulfate should be administered slowly because it can cause a warm feeling upon administration, shown by the warming heater. At high levels, magnesium sulfate may produce hypotension due to its vasodilator effects, shown by the HippoBP feeling extra relaxed. Because magnesium sulfate functions by decreasing the central nervous system, other side effects to be aware of include decreased deep tendon reflexes, the down arrow DTR reflex hammer, along with a decreased respiratory rate, shown by the down arrow lungs, and potentially decreased urine output, the down arrow urinal. It is important to monitor urine output because if it decreases drastically, the patient could develop magnesium toxicity. At high doses, parenteral administration of magnesium sulfate has been associated with the development of a paralytic ileus, shown by the wheelchair eels, although this is a rare side effect. Lastly, it is important to remember that the antidote, if magnesium toxicity is suggested, is calcium gluconate, shown by the calcium cow with glue cone. Calcium produces the opposite effect of magnesium and increases muscle contractions, making it the antidote. So let's review magnesium sulfate. It is a muscle relaxant indicated for treatment of preterm labor contractions and preeclampsia. Side effects may include a warm feeling, hypotension, decreased deep tendon reflexes, decreased respiratory rate, decreased urine output, and paralytic ileus. The antidote for magnesium sulfate is calcium gluconate.
For magnesium sulfate, imagine this spa where pregnant women come to relax while reading a magnesium magazine by the light of sulfur matches. A muscular masseuse works to relax any uterus that starts flexing before the timer reaches term. He rubs out all kinds of knots and cramps caused by the pre-E clamp and throws it away. Like any spa with an abundance of sulfur matches, this place has a hot tub warmed by a heater. And since hippos love the water, it's not uncommon to see a hippo BP sinking down in her seat. Just remember everything else beneath the water as being decreased, because there are things you just don't do in a hot tub. As the hippo sinks down, it can't feel the deep tendon reflex hammer, as it's so hard to swing anything underwater. It's being swung by the lungs, which are pinned by the hippo and holding their breath because they're underwater. Thirdly, the lungs are pinching the woman's bladder and holding in her urinal, because we all know it's just not cool to pee in the hot tub. This tub is also full of eels, but not to worry, they're so relaxed it's like they're paralyzed. The only problem is they get sucked into the plumbing and things get plugged up. The only fix takes getting the calcium cow with its glue cones to take it apart and glue everything back together. And one of these days, she swears she's just going to glue together the pages of the Magnesium magazine.